Hello everyone, welcome back to week 6 stream processing. In this video, we are basically going to produce some messages programmatically to Kafka. We're going to use the writes data we had previously seen in this course, and we are also going to consume some data programmatically. We're going to use Java as a programming language. The reason is that Kafka libraries are well maintained for Java, and Python is just not that well maintained right now. But no worries, if you are more comfortable with Python, there are Python examples from previous year which you can follow along. It's almost the same thing. It's using Docker, and in this case, we are just going to use the Confluent Cloud. But please do try to follow along the Java examples and try it out if you're comfortable with Java. Hi. So the first thing we are going to do is basically we're going to create a topic for our rights data. The topic I'm going to use is, so I'm just going to go to the topics tab, click on add topic, rename it as rights. Let's use partition as 2. And if you want to know what partition is, we're going to do that in the next video, so tune along. We are going to use delete. Let's just do 1 day for this case. Everything else looks okay to me, and I will just save it, create. Now we have a topic, or basically we have created a topic which doesn't have any rights, any messages or any schema configured to it because we are not using schema registry right now. The second thing which we can do is basically now we try to connect it to a client. So there is a clients tab which already gives you some examples on how to do that. All right, so we are going to look at Java as an example. And what this is saying is basically it's using copy, the following configuration and all that. So we are exactly going to do that, but first let's take a look into how to basically configure. If you go to Kafka examples and open it up in IntelliJ, you're going to see the same thing. What I have done right now is I have created a rights DAO basically, and I have created a constructor which basically passed a string array. It converts it into the object itself. We can now take a look into what we get. So what are we doing here is basically we have taken our producers, we are getting rights, and in the rights we read the rights.csv file. So I basically copied some rights across from our Google Cloud Storage here, and I just converted use CSV reader to basically read all the rights. So now I have my write. And now we're going to produce it. So let's create a method, public void, in this case, publish rights. And we are going to take a list of rights. We are going to publish them. So first, let's create our Java constructor. And for that, we would need to create some properties. So let's do that here. Prop the constructor. So let's create a constructor. Put. And now let's copy paste the code from here. So we don't need to do anything with the schema registry. So let's just copy paste this part for now. Comment it out. And what do we need? We need Bootstrap server. All right, comment this out also. And we can say, okay, so producer config dot Bootstrap server config is basically this line here. And we can see that it's nothing but bootstrap.server. So that's what we need here, and that's perfect. So let's actually rename this to Right, then we start our Kafka producer. So where Kafka producer, we go to new Kafka producer with string, comma, right, props. I think we would need one more configuration. So we also need these two configurations, which is basically the key serialization and the value serialization. The serialization is happening using string, and in this case, the serialization is happening using the Kafka JSON serializer. All right, so we are here. What does it say? Nothing really special. So okay, so for right, right, Kafka producer dot send. All right, then it's new producer record with key. So that will be our, let's see what we can use. Vendor ID, payment type, passenger count, lead code ID. What do we have, which might be a good one? Oh, let's do pickup location ID. Location ID. I think that's basically a long, so we need to convert it. And then the same right. Topic, partition, the topic name. So the topic name which we created was basically right. So we're just going to use that. That's it. So this should do that. Let's just try it out. Publish rights to rights. And, sorry, producer.publish rights. Perfect. So let's do that. Let's try to run it. So what we need for this is basically another implementation of Confluent Kafka JSON serializer. Let's just refresh Gradle. So what we need is basically this. Let's this time try to rebuild it. It looks better. Let's see if we can build step also. Oh, that looks way much better. Okay, cool. Let's try it one more time. So what we need to do is basically add this semicolon here. I think that's what we were missing. Let's try one more time. Oh, all right. So something did happen this time. There was some production. Let's see. I produced the messages, and we can already see here in the UI for rights that there are some messages coming in. We can see that what the offset is, what the timestamp when it was produced, and what are the values. So we have successfully produced some messages to Kafka. Hello. So let's try to consume some messages. So I just created a Java consumer, and I'm doing the same thing basically this time in the consume side. So what I'm going to do is basically use the same properties as before, but instead of producer config, I will just do consumer config here. And consumer config has no key deserialization. So deserialization. All right. So basically all the configuration stays absolutely the same. just the serialization changes to deserialization, and we are using the consumer config this time. So now we have our properties. Let's set our Kafka consumer, and we will have a string, right? Consumer to you. I will actually do this. The prop. Perfect. So now we have got our consumer. Can we just use it here? Okay, so let's make a class first. So that's actually void Kafka, and yeah, that's it basically. So consumer dot pool, and the duration can be of 10 minutes. And so then we can say, okay, while, and this would be our results. And while results is non-empty, or maybe the DO location ID. Let's print that one out. And then we just assign results equal to, again, we pool again basically so that we can finish our do while. And this basically continues till we consume the messages. So and then let's make our JSON consumer dot consume Kafka. All right, let's see if this works. Or maybe it will not, because the serialization will not work, and we would need, okay, same package. So now we can do this. All right, error. What does it say? Yeah, of course. So then we also need to do consumer.subscribe. What's so pattern topics? We just need a topic. So list of, and then the topic is basically rides. Then let's try it out. Embedded group ID session to use. Oh yeah, okay. I am forgetting consumer dot. Okay, so we actually need a props put consumer config dot group ID config, and that would be for Kafka tutorial example dot JSON consumer. Did it do anything? let's see what happens. So, stream from Kafka. Let's put some files. Here. Count. Results is basically 0. Why would that happen? Let's check our clients. Consumer. And there is our consumer. What has it already? Has it already consumed everything and we just didn't see it? Or what exactly happened there? So you are assigned to one topic in the last 6. It's nothing much consumed. So let's do one thing. Let's say where I is equal to 0 plus plus empty and I is greater than non-empty and I is actually less than 10. So it actually loops 10 times at least. Result is empty. Sorry. Or still consuming from nothing. So let's try to update our version of Kafka consumer group ID. Let's see if that does the trick. Okay, yeah, I know what's wrong. So we need to also add a props of when to start reading. So props consumer config dot auto offset reset config as latest. So not latest, earliest. So this basically says that, so what to do when there is no initial offset. So in this case, when we had no initial offset, the default behavior is to go to latest. Let's try it again with this config. Yeah, we might need to update our version. Let's try again. What's wrong? So linked hash map cannot be cast to org, right? Module job is, oh yeah, of course. So we need to add another one, which is basically JSON deserializer config. JSON value type is basically our rights class, because currently the hash map was being read and the hash map cannot be converted into rights. So let's try it again. I hope the thing did not get committed and it's still an exception. So invalid definition. You cannot construct instance of right. Oh yes, okay, so we need one. Because we are doing JSON serialization, we need one default constructor, which we basically override it. Let's try it again. There we go. So now we have some data coming in, and we can already see that we have, with some difficulty, read all the messages from Kafka. And now when the result is basically zero again, it's kind of times out. So we can already see that in the beginning, it took some time for the connection to happen, some time for the whole thing to set up in Kafka, and only then their consumption has been started.